Introducing the concepts of structured query language from SM Systems.
Alright, so in today's SQL class, so we are going to look at, obviously the basics of SQL, including hands-on, including hands-on exercise we will have. In the future, if anybody wants to do hands-on exercise, you can always write to me and I can send you the test file. Everybody needs a test file to do this hands-on, so you need to email it to me. You can email to nandu@gmail. So you can email it to me here. But what we are going to do today is, before going into SQL, so let's look at some of the basics. So SQL is all about storing and accessing electronic data. But we will also compare it with how how you can relate to non-electronic data. We will also look at the concept of database, tables, rows, columns. What is SQL? Why SQL for QA testers and BAs, and the concept of primary key and alternate keys. So these are the concepts that we are going to look at, which will take about 40 minutes depending on your questions, and then we will go into dive into the hands-on exercise. So that's what we are going to do today. So let's look at the concept of electronic data versus non-electronic data. So in a real life, including you see a cabinet in the classroom also, right? So there is a file cabinet. So you see a file cabinet, here. So there are drawers. So you see drawer 1, drawer 2, and drawer 3. So in each drawer, some data is stored. It could be pen, papers, pencils, and so on. Right? There are drawer and drawer within drawer data is stored. So similarly, equivalent of a file cabinet is a database. Equivalent to a drawer is a table. So just like in a drawer, pen and papers are stored, or pencils are stored, data is stored within a table in terms of rows and columns. So you can see a clear analogy. I hope you can see a clear analogy, right? So within a drawer, so we store a lot of data. Similarly, within a table, so we store data. But this data is electronic in nature. So this is electronic data, but this is a physical data, tangible. So in summary, file cabinet is equal to a database, drawers are equal to a table. And whatever data is stored here can be structured, but here the data is stored more like an Excel spreadsheet. The Excel spreadsheet all of you would have seen in terms of columns and rows. For example, so your database, I can show you an example. Let me show Excel access. So it's a very important skill set for QAs and BAs also. It's good to know it. Look here how the data is stored. Just like an Excel spreadsheet in terms of columns. So you have columns in this way, right? And you have rows. Right? So what you see here is a table. What you see here is a table. Only I said, in the earlier file cabinet example also, only in a table data is stored in terms of rows and columns. So these things are part of a database. So anyway, these are the various tables or various drawers that you are looking at. So in fact, these things are normally in a different order. Show table queries. Not showing. So it will show various. You can also open a database. You can also open a database, and so here these are the various databases that you are looking at. Various file cabinets. Here are the file cabinets that you are looking at. So file cabinets as drawers. So that, and within drawer you have data, and within a table you have data. Okay. So that is concept number 1. So I also explained the concept of storing electronic data as non-electronic data. I also explained the concept of database, table, rows and columns. Okay, Excel, instead of Excel, I showed you guys Access. I'm sure all of you have seen Access. Okay, if you go back and look at Access also, it looks the same, right, in terms of columns and rows. So that's how data is stored. So then if that is the case, then what is SQL? SQL stands for Structured Query Language. So let me write it here. Okay. SQL stands for Structured Query Language. Okay. So it is a query language, right? It is a query language. It is almost like programming. So about 50% of you or about 75% of you may be skeptical. Oh, how am I going to learn when I use the word programming? You may be a little skeptical. So within 2 hours or lesser, I am sure you will know how to write a SQL query. So just watch, okay? Okay. So what is this? How is SQL related to this? Okay. So let's take a simple example. Okay. So there are pen and you need to watch carefully, otherwise you will miss it. Pen and papers, so there is so much data here. So suppose I am here. Okay. I am here. Right. So then you are let's say here. Okay. So if I have to request you to go and get a pen or pencil, so you go here, open the drawer, get a pen or pencil. Right? So if it is electronic data, like this, who is going to get the data? Do you think a human being can physically go here and pull the data out of the table? Is that possible? Human being cannot pull the data from here. Human being physically cannot go and get the data. If I ask you to pull down this drawer D1, cannot do it, right? This character you cannot do. So what do I do now? So now I have no choice but to rely on SQL. Okay, so this is Nandu. So okay, so now SQL is the middle portion. I have to tell SQL what I want, and SQL will go and get it. Whereas in the earlier case, there was a human being to human being interaction. Or either I can go and get it, or you can go and get it. Right? But in this case, human being is replaced by SQL. Only SQL can go and get the data. Understand? Okay. So you guys understand? Online, any questions? Okay. So SQL is going to be the medium that is going to get the data. Okay. So look at this, read this. How a human being can help you. That is the file cabinet example. You can get a pen from the drawer. A human being can get a pen from the drawer for you. Put the pen back in the drawer, take a pen and throw it away, change the cap, create a drawer, sort and search. Right? So if I ask you to do these things in a drawer full of pens and paper, you can very easily do all of them, right? So all the 6 steps. So as far as SQL is concerned, in the electronic world, what it can do is, it can read and select data from a table. Read or select data from a table. Insert data into a table. Putting a pen back is same as insert. Take a pen and throw it away is same as delete. Changing the cap is same as modifying or updating existing data. Creating a drawer. If you are handy enough, you can create a drawer. So DBS and the SQL person can create a table and database. You can sort and search. The SQL also can sort and search for you. Okay. Now, but what is the difference? Communication with the SQL versus human being. So for tables, okay, tables is human being to SQL, right? Human being to SQL. Okay, it is human being to a SQL. For a drawer, it is human being to a human being. Correct? But the type of communication is almost same, except that SQL can only understand English and limited number of English words. You guys understand the difference? Okay, if I have to communicate with you, if I have to communicate with Harmeet, okay, I can request him, hey, go and get can you please go and get a pen? Or I can say, he's very friendly with me, I can take advantage, hey, Harmeet, get a pen. Or if I know, he knows 6 languages. So if I know any of the 6 languages, I can communicate, if I know, okay, so I can tell Harmeet in Russian, go and get a pen. He can understand all of it. But SQL, as far as this class is concerned, can understand only English and limited number of English words. So that is the challenge. You need to communicate not only in English, limited number of English words. Right? So, okay. So that is one point you need to remember. Only limited number of English words. Okay. So now there are 3 drawers here. Right? There are 3 drawers here. And if I tell Harmeet, hey, I need a pen, man, please tell. So he can go and get a pen, or he can give me tough time by asking, hey, which drawer? Which pen? There are so many pens. So if I tell him if a red pen, he can even ask, there are so many red pens, which red pen you want? Right? He can keep on asking questions. Similarly, a SQL, okay, if you are getting data, you need to tell SQL what data you want. Okay. So in the example here, so if you say student ID, if you say tell SQL, hey, I want the student ID, it will get all the student IDs. It's like a robot. So you need to tell which student ID you want. Okay, number 5. If you say get address, you will get all the address. You need to be very specific. You need to say, hey, I want the address of number 3. Okay. So just remember that, so you need to communicate, like a kid, so you need to give the required information so that SQL can understand what you want. Sanju, go ahead.
Nanta, my question is, you said SQL only understand English and very few words of English. So how we can remember all the words? Do we need to remember all the words, or how does it work?
Yeah, it comes with practice. Yeah. So you will know, when we are practicing today, so you will know some of the words you will know today.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what the class is about. So you will know, when we do the exercises, you will know.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So SQL is a standard computer language used for, like I said, getting data. Just like from a file cabinet, so human beings can get data, SQL also can get data from a table. You put the data back, okay, take the data and throw it away or delete it and change it, modifying it. All of this human beings can do. So what I am trying to communicate here is just like, what a human being can do to some information or data within a drawer, all that SQL can do it for you too. Get, put, modify, create a brand new drawer, right? So if you are handy enough, you can create a brand new drawer, brand new cabinet, file cabinet. Okay, creating a database is equal to a file cabinet. So creating a file cabinet and sort and search, all that, SQL can do it for you. Stands for Structured Query Language, English-like, and very easy and fun to use. So it was originally, I think, IBM started it, late 60s, IBM 1968 or so they started, and they were the first ones to come up with this database program like DB2, and then others followed suit, like Oracle, Microsoft was 90s, Oracle, Sybase, Informix were all there. I think Informix is now, a part of IBM. Okay. So SQL is a common thread or a link. So the thing is, if you learn Oracle, you can go to DB2. If you learn MS SQL, you can go to Informix or Sybase. Okay. So it is like learning bicycle. If you know how to ride a bicycle with one bicycle or a car, The next one with some changes, right? So Honda to Volvo or some other car, there will be some differences, but not a whole lot. So fundamentally, they are the same. Right? It's like that. So if you know a SQL with OpenOffice, you can very easily switch to Oracle. Okay. So now the concept of a primary key. Okay. So before we go to the concept of primary key, looking at theory and all that, I want everybody to take a minute and understand the scenario here. Okay. Imagine a world without an IT system and software. That means everything is done manually, right? Everything is done manually. So let's take an example of a college. Right? So all of us have been through a college. Okay, so we have a student ID. So last name, first name, address, phone number, course ID, course name. So this is when a student registers for a school or a college. This is the bare minimum information you need to fill in. Right? Okay. Why do we have student ID? So that a student can be uniquely identified. Okay, so that student can be uniquely identified, right? So if you go to school, they also have student ID. So their student can be uniquely identified. Now, let's say this is 1960. Now, let's say we move to 2000. Where IT, so now we are talking about IT. So now the student registration. Look here, student registration form. So this is all done manually, right? Look at it, you have to complete this form. Okay, name, right? Name, phone number, all these things you need to fill in manually. Okay? So now, if let's say we should move to 2000 and this thing is automated, that means it's web-based. Web-based student registration form, right? So when it becomes a web-based student registration, okay, they are going to do the same thing. They are going to have the same data. They are going to have the same data. It is not going to be any different. So during the manual process, each student was uniquely identified through student ID. Now, they will collect all this information, store it in a database with student ID as the unique key. That is called a primary key. Okay? So they have to store it in the database. They need to collect all this information from you and store it in a table. Okay? When they store it in a table, okay, they have to have the student ID as the primary key. So let's say all of us go to a school or college, right? All of us are in the same class. Or right now, many of you are here in class, some online. Can all of you, can any two students have the same student ID? Is it possible? Two students cannot have the same student ID. It has to be, it has to be you and me to have your own student ID. The names could be same, but IDs cannot be the same. So that is the concept built around the concept of a primary key. It is unique. First of all, it is unique. Suppose all these November batch students I store it in a table. Okay. So I have to have a primary key, which I will use a student ID as a primary key. Okay. The student ID as the primary key, it is defined as a table. I am going to store all your information in this table. In this table, I am going to store all your information, your student ID, last name, first name, everything, social security number and so on. Okay. So when I define a primary key, which value I can use? It has to be unique to your table and it needs to uniquely identify a person, so student ID. Right? It is It is unique to your table and only one primary key per table. So this is the concept of a primary key. The purpose of primary key, imagine a manual world, imagine a world without IT. So during this time, what did they do? So they identified, they manually maintained all the data and each student had their own student ID. It was unique. They never assigned the same ID to someone else. Here, in the automation world, that unique thing has to be implemented. Who is going to maintain it? The database is going to maintain it. The tool, software is going to do it. So we are telling the software that look, once I have primary key, that means it is unique. And okay, it is unique. Nobody can change it. Meaning, let's look at this example. Okay. So now if you look at it, there is student ID, last name, first name and all that. So let me, one second. So this is the primary key. Everybody can see it. Now student ID is the primary key. Okay. If you are doing this, you are telling the table that, hey, this value is always unique. What is the meaning? This value is always unique. For example, okay. So whatever was the manual process, I am trying to define the same thing through a software. That means suppose your new student joins the November batch. Okay, let's see. A new student joins the November batch. Okay, his name is John Doe. Okay, address is whatever the address, doesn't matter. I need to assign a student ID. Can I go ahead and assign 20? There are millions of people. Imagine there is millions of people. I don't know if there is a 20 or not. Maybe there is a 20, may not be a 20. But I want, there is no way for me to go and check all the million records or all the 200 students. It's not possible. So, it's implemented through software. So, if I go and say save it, I'm going to give error message. So, now the software is implementing that uniqueness. So, look at the error message, it says that, hey, it's duplicate. It's duplicate, I cannot take it. So, if I change over to 20, fine, there is no problem, it will save it. You guys understand? Okay, software is forcing you. That's why, the same concept when you go and do it with email. Okay. So, now let me go to mail.yahoo.com. Okay. Let me go to mail.yahoo.com. I'm going to create a new email ID. So, one second, let it load. I'm going to create a new account. I'm going to create a new account called Nandu. Okay. So, if it is there or not, do you think it will let me create? So, I'm creating some password and all that. So, I'm saying check. This ID is not available. How does it know that this ID is not available? Because it's going and checking against the database. When checking against the database, I can have my last name and all that. It will let me have, okay. So yeah, I can have my last name and all that, Nandu, anything I can have. It doesn't care. Okay. But here, when it comes to here, it won't let me do that. It won't let me have that Nandu as the ID. Because it is at least one of the keys, or it may be the primary key, immediately it will reject. So this is how, in the back end, Yahoo's database, okay, Yahoo's database has a database, has a table. Within the table, user ID is one of the keys. It may be a primary key, potentially it is a primary key, but at least it is a key and it is defined as a unique key. Okay. So the second rule is that it is defined at the table level, obviously. It is unique to your table. Primary key. I am talking about primary key. And by rule, this is one by rule. Only one primary key per table. What is the meaning of one primary key per table? So I am getting smart. I am going to define last name also as a primary key. Watch what happens. As per if you are in front of the computer, Sonali, watch. Okay? Watch what happens. I am going to define last name as the primary key. What happened to student ID? It's gone. Student ID primary key is gone. Right? So, you can have either student ID as the primary key or last name as the primary key. Okay? But not two primary keys. Two primary keys are not allowed. That is why this definition of only one primary key per table. But to slightly add a twist, just to add a twist to it, and I can have a primary key of student ID and last name together. I have to press shift, highlight both the rows, make both of them primary. What it means is they are together as a primary key. Together as a primary key means I can have one more 25 That is allowed. Okay, no error message. I can save it, no error message. But I cannot have 25 and J. That is not allowed. Okay, so watch here. 25. It will allow you several 25. See, together, they are together a primary key. The two columns together. You cannot have primary key as student ID. You cannot have, you cannot have two primary keys, like primary key 1 and 2. But you can combine them. You can say P1 plus P2 is equal to 1 key. Together. Together is allowed. You can still do the search by student ID and last name, but both of them act as keys. That means both of them together have to be unique. Yeah, you can do 26J. Yeah. Okay. So you can do. Let me do it and see. Yeah. So for example, you can do 26J. That is allowed. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So okay. So then there is concept of a secondary key. Okay. It is also defined at the table level, but it gives flexibility. It can be unique or duplicate. It can be unique or duplicate. Okay. And more than one secondary key per table. More than one secondary key. You can have as many secondary. There is a limitation, but you can have many secondary keys. Okay. So there are many ways. Normally primary key or secondary key. Somebody has an example, right? It all depends on the business. Okay. So I will give you some examples. Once I discuss some more. Okay, some more business example. Bank account. You take your bank account. Why do you think account number? They ask for account number. You call a bank and say, "Hey, I want to know my balance." Or you go visit a bank and you say, "Hey, I want to deposit a check. I don't remember my account number." Then they will ask for social security number, or they can ask for phone number. Okay. So the first thing is they want an account number. Okay. Why? Because in their database, potentially account number is defined as a primary key. When you have account number, when you have the primary key, the search is also faster. The search is pretty fast. Okay. So if I go to this database and I tell you that, hey, find out everyone with the last name Singh. You need to go step by, you need to go look here. You have to go through every row. Okay? You need to go through every row and try to identify people with last name Singh. But whereas if I tell you student ID 18, it is unique. You just go and pick up this person. There is a difference between searching this table with student ID versus last name. Is it clear? Is it clear, Armi? Right? Online, is it clear? Okay. Because when you say that, you have to search by last name, you pretty much have to go through every row. Whereas if I ask you to go by student ID, you can directly go and pick up the student ID. So another example I used to give was, okay, for the usefulness for the importance of a primary key. Okay, let me give you one more example. Okay, so I used to, you can go through this scenario. I will give you the answer also. You can read it. Just I know the name of the apartment complex and his or her name. How will you deliver the package? Front desk is closed, all those things. Okay? So Harmeet, what do you think? How will you deliver the package? Person name I just gave you, Joe. Joe is the person's name. What will you do? You have to go to every door. Find if the person is Joe. But if I tell Arvind, door number is 1, 2, 3, in 1 second. 1 minute versus, you don't know. If there are 1,000 apartments, you could be searching the apartments all day, right? First you need to find out if you are Joe, then you need to ask, are you Nandu's friend? 2 questions you need to ask. So it will take a very long time. Similarly, in IT, okay, for a database search, okay, so this key, primary key and secondary keys play a key role in identifying the data. Okay, in identifying the data. So it is just a SQL human being. There is so much, analogy. It is the same thing. Certain things we can do faster, because SQL also can, if you give the right information, SQL will do it fast for you. It's no different.
If I give them the last name, the SQL goes to all the last names.
It really depends. Last name could be a secondary key, but if not, it will go to every door. That means every row it will say, and try to find out. If I say, hey, last name is Singh, so it will go first. Oh, last name is Singh? Okay, I'm going to select you. Okay, I'm going to select you. Okay, I'm not going to select you. I'm not going to select you. Like that it will keep coming. Oh, I'm going to select you. It will keep coming. Still has to go from beginning to end. Assuming it is not a key. If it is a key, then it's a different story. It will bring both. Right? Think about the bank account. Your last name and first name. Many people can have a bank account with Bank of America with the same last name and first name. So how do they differentiate? Account number, social security number, address, phone number. So that's why you have this primary key and secondary key. That is my thing. That is what I'm saying. So if you have a bank, go to a bank, all of us may have the first and last name may be same. Okay? So how do they identify primary key? Did IT people invent this? That's what I'm saying. This is not an IT concept. 50 years ago, when IT was not there, still banks ran their business, right? They still identified you through your account number. Okay, that's what I'm saying. In 1960, when there was no IT, students still had student ID. That's the only way to identify you uniquely. Right? Right? It's all business, so it is just a non-IT concept that got, when the whole thing was automated, they just transferred that idea. Right? If you go and stand in a bank, even to a bank, there is no IT. If you don't know a phone number, then they'll ask for, okay, what is your last name? Then they'll open the ledger and go through the entire thing, try to find out your name. Then they will ask, oh, sir, do you live in this address? Yes. That's how in the non-IT world business was done. That is how the business is done in the IT world as well. Okay, so it is the same thing. So here we have technical names, oh primary key, oh secondary key. Okay, so it is the business thing. So that is how a lot of these telemarketers reach you. Somebody asked about keys having two values. So they can set up a key based on income or zip code and income level. Okay, they can. So they can say, give me everyone in the 3005 zip code with income of greater than 80K. You can do that. Okay. The income tabs can be divided into different categories like A, B, C. So they can say, hey, give me everything, everybody in the zip code with an income of more than certain limit, whatever. That's how telemarketers target you. They go to database, various keys are defined, they will just run the query, get all the data and they will call you. Okay. So the next topic is, let's go and get the office. Open office. Bring up open office. Okay, everybody should be on this page. The important thing is don't go in front of me. Meaning, don't, just stay there. Okay, just stay there. All do it together. Okay. So bring up this page and it should say open an existing file. If you don't have DB0805, just do this, click this open and bring it from the folder. And don't click finish. Don't do finish. So So if you are watching this and later on if you need this database, so you guys can contact me. Okay. Contact me. Okay. Okay. Everybody seems to be here. I'm just waiting. So you need to bring up this. You click this open and bring up this DB0805. Okay. So click finish. Didn't have a chance to download. We'll have to do it later. Okay. All right. So click finish, and everybody should be on this particular page. Okay. You'll come here. So from here, you just have to follow my instructions. Okay. If you try to go ahead of me, you'll pull down the class. Okay. So okay, you'll pull down the class. So just follow what I'm doing. Okay, step by step. That means you have to watch my screen, go to your screen, and do the repeat the step. Okay. The first step is okay. So first I'm going to look at the tables and then come to queries. That is step 1. 1 and 2 I'm going to do. Okay. So if you go and look at the tables, tables is where it will list all the drawers or just class example, 2 tables may be there. You may have only 1 table, so it doesn't matter. Okay, try clicking the tables. You have 2 tables, okay. And then, so what we are going to do is, we are going to run a query in this table. Okay, we are going to run queries. Run queries means we are going to write and run it. Switch over to queries. Now click queries. So this is where all the queries that you are going to write, you can save it here. Okay, I am not going to save any of my queries. So if you want to save, you can save all your queries for future use. So there are three things here. You can use any one of them, but we are specifically going to use create query in a design view. Okay, create query in a design view. So Indra, hopefully you are watching here, Rekha, Anisha, there are many people not watching the screen right now. If you have not done it, if you have done with the previous step, come to the third step. Now we are going to the third step. Third step is you need to click this. Create query, you can go ahead and click it and don't do anything beyond that. Just click create query in a design view. Okay, so that is the third step. Click this. Okay, I'm going to click it also. Okay. Now we are saying query, so in fact SQL is asking, okay, I'll go get it, but which drawer, which table? There are 3, 4, 10, 15 tables. This example there are only 2 tables. So which table do you want data from? Okay, I'm going to highlight student. Okay, highlight student and do an add. So this is step 4, step 5, step 6 is close. Okay, step 6 is close. Yeah, you can close it. Once you say, do a highlight, 4 is highlighting this, 5 is add, 6 is close. Okay, 4, 5, 6 completed. You can pull it down a little bit. Step 7. Step 7 is just pull this down so that later you can pull up and down. Okay, you can also pull this down. Okay, it was like this. Watch what I'm doing. Online Indra, Madhuri, Mamta, make sure you watch what I'm doing, because you have a little bit of a tougher job, but I'll go slow, one by one step at a time. So we have completed step 7, right? Step 8 is, you can also adjust this size. Adjusting the size of this is the table. Okay, so now let's look at it, how to do this. Okay, so what you see here is a table. and below is the query area. So this is the table and query. So from the table I need to pull down what I want. One of the most simplest query and wrong query, you should never use it in a real world environment, is to use this star. Okay, you can also double click it. So watch here, I just double click this. So it is a field. Field means select star means select everything. There is a table name. Right now you just need to know this. Table names will appear here. The fields that you select are going to appear here. But star means select everything from the table. Everything from the table. So the student is the table name here. Okay, that table name is inserted here. You can also say simply star. That also in this context is fine. Okay. So student dot star. Everybody is with me on this step. Okay. So it will take about another an hour to finish this. So just follow this. Okay. Click this run icon, run query. The purpose of running a query. Okay. The purpose of run query is to make sure that you can see the results. If you run, okay, you will see the results. Results of the query. Okay, and then what you do is, okay, so go to, I think let me try one second, this is some view, switch design view off. Okay, you need to switch the design view off, turn off the design view. What appears is your first SQL. Okay, so if you look at it, this is how the SQL should be done. Select star from student. Okay, somebody asked about what are the English words. Select is one English word, from is second English word. Star is another thing, it can understand star. Okay, so I can even enlarge it for you. So if you look at it.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
I created the table two times now. I did something. The whole thing screen is off. I cannot see the screen, so I cannot ask the question. So because when I run the query, there is nothing coming.
Okay, so you are able to run the query, right? Right, you are able to run the query, but you are not able to see the result that I am seeing, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's go back. All of you, okay. Rest of you are able to see the result and all that, right? Okay. Now what happens is, everybody, including Rekha, what you do is you turn off the preview. Okay, turn off the preview, and turn to design view. Turn on the design view. Everybody should be here now. Okay. So Rekha, what do you see here?
A student dot star.
Okay, and you are able to see student here.
Yes.
And you are able to see the table name here.
Yes, I do.
Okay. So if you see all that, just run the query. Alright, thank you. Alright.
Okay.
So now what I want everybody to do is, okay, watch here. Indra and who else? Maitri, Narasimha, make sure that a lot of people, be starting with all J, S and V. So make sure that, you guys are watching the screen. Delete student dot star. Delete student dot star. So just, if you have student dot star, so just highlight it and delete it. Okay. So this is the initial steps are over. From now on, it should be an easy flow. Just follow, then it will be easy. I am going to delete this student dot star. Otherwise, your result will be different. You will hold the class. Okay. Just follow what I am saying. Move away from all the distractions. Now there is no room for distraction. Okay. Because you got to follow what I am doing. Okay. Delete it. And then what you do is select student ID. Double click student ID on the top. Select double click last name. Double click first name. double click city, zip code, and date of join. If you selected an extra column, that's fine, but these are the ones that you should have. Student ID, last name, first name, city, zip, date of join. So now the next one, all of you, next step, watch this criterion. Okay. Watch this criterion. Watch here, Pragati and Suchitra, watch here. Criterion, student ID. So the intersection of student ID and criterion, enter 3. That means we want to access the student ID number 3. We want to access student ID number 3. Yeah, just 3 and run the query. You guys know how to run the query, so just keep on run it. Okay. So now we are bringing in specific information. We are not getting everything. We are bringing in specific information, right? Specific data. So instead of getting everything versus getting only specific student ID. Everybody should be on this page. I hope everyone is done. I'm just waiting. Okay. So now you can go and experience the query. The main thing is you have to learn the SQL query. So switch off the design view. Turn off the design view. I'm saying turn off the design view. Now you see the query. Okay. So let me copy this query so that everybody can see it clearly. Earlier it was select start from student. Now see. Select student ID, last name, first name, city, zip, date of join, from. Almost the same as this. Only difference is where class is there. From student, you can also split it like this. Select is a keyword, from is a keyword, and where is a keyword. 3 more English words that you learn. Besides star. Star is also another thing that SQL can understand. Say, give me these things from this drawer where the condition is pen should be set. Right? So it is the same thing. Human communication is what is happening here. Okay. So if you go to design view, so everybody can come back to design view if you know how to do it. Okay. View, turn off the preview and turn on the design view. Okay. Okay. So now let's move to the second exercise. Slowly the comfort level should be there. So all of you stop what you are doing. Watch what I am doing. Okay. Remove the criterion here. It's like a cell. Okay. It's like a Google spreadsheet cell. Just backspace it and delete it. Very important. Okay. So some of you are not watching my screen. Make sure that you backspace and delete the criterion. Yeah, criterion is the condition. Okay. Okay. So now everybody should be here. Let's see few more queries. So now you guys should have a reasonable comfort over the navigation. Entering data here, and going through running it, looking at the SQL query, and coming back to the design. This is the cycle we are going to follow. Because in the process we should learn SQL. So there is the next one we are going to learn is sort. Okay. So against last name, okay. So against last name, here we are going to operate here. So hopefully everybody is looking at my screen online. Very important. So if you go and click that cell, watch what I'm doing. Watch what I'm doing. Okay. So it will say not sorted. I will say ascending or descending. So click ascending. So if you can see the last name, it's clearly sorted, right, in the ascending order. If you all see that is the purpose. Look at the data, right? It's all sorted nicely, isn't it? Right? So now you go to the SQL. Now you go to the view preview. Turn off the preview and turn on the SQL view. So SQL view will be turned on. So the design view should be turned on. Okay? if you look at the SQL, this one, select from order by, this is the order by last name. Okay, so you know select from order by means you are telling SQL to sort it. Sort it in ascending order. So you guys also can save the query if you want. Okay, so you guys can save the query. Ascending means, okay, ascending order means, so I hope it makes sense. Okay, ascending order. Okay, alright, the next exercise. Okay, so if you guys go and do it, let's give me a second. Let me come back here. Okay. Everybody, you guys might have this. Okay. So you can also press the enter key and come to the next one. You can also change it. You can, Okay. Alright. So try to run this. Okay. Put the DESC and try to run this query. Descending. That means descending. Order by last name descending. Okay. So what is it? Select from where, order by, sorting. Then comes the and or in, not in. Okay. Last 7, 8 statements, which should take another 20 to 30 minutes. If you guys just follow it. Okay. So let's go back to design view. Okay. Come back to design view. Okay. So now everybody descending should be off. Now what we can do is we can run and or. Okay. And or. Okay. So now and how to create and. So go to criterion. So watch this row. Okay. Criterion. So run the query. And you see that, there is a clearly, you see the result. Okay. You see the result. Both city and this has to go, they have to, meet the criteria. There are two criteria, right? So this is alphabeta and this. The rest of the rows are excluded. Okay. So now let's go to view and switch off the design view. And you see the query. Okay. Look at this condition. Okay. And means two things should be true. City should be alphabeta and this should be 5. Right? Okay. So is everyone there? Okay. Now let's go back to the query. Let's try to use this. Let's convert it into or. Change and to or. Don't do anything other than that. Just try to turn and to or. You run the query. Alphabeta all 3005. Watch the query. Even in Atlanta, it will show even in Atlanta. Okay. Yeah, there is probably one Atlanta, right? So either one of the condition is true. Okay. Either one of the condition is true. See, the thing is programming and this kind of SQL things are not chat messages. Chat messages or email messages. You need to be very sensitive. You need to be very careful when you type in. So in fact, if it is a smaller file, I even would recommend typing little more. With so many people, I am not doing a few things. Okay. But otherwise, I let people type here and all that. Because if you have to pay 100% attention, even a little bit of deviation here and there, small things is gone. because this can only understand few words. Look at the word. If I have to misspell, all of you online, MOT, what here? Suppose there is a spelling mistake. Okay, so you put this. Immediately you want to change color, it will change it. Becomes green, right? That means it doesn't understand. SQL is saying, I don't understand this. Then it changes to blue. Even a small mistake, it will give error message. You need to be very, very careful. Somebody asks this question, hey, if it is a text, you need to put within quotes. Yes, that is the rule. It is a rule. If it is a number, you don't have to put within quotes. But when it is a zip is also number, numeric. This is alphanumeric. City is alpha. So that is why it is expecting this. But if you try to put number in quotes, it will give error message. Okay. So let's move on to the next one. Okay. So you can go back to the design view. Okay. You can go back to the design view. Okay. Anyway. Alright. So let's see. If you look at the OR condition, it also talks about, okay, criterion OR. Okay. Everybody can see that, right? Now, knock out this alphabet. We don't want that. Large set of queries, about 4 queries maybe. And knock out the 3005, let it be there. So now you guys write like this. Okay. So 3004, 5 and 9. Okay. So now, if you go and run the query and go to SQL view, main thing is go to SQL view. That is where, there is a learning process. Okay. So here you look at the data, understand what is happening in the data. If you look at, so you are all this, you are right. Now go to SQL. Okay. So everybody in the zip code give it to me. Everyone in the zip code. So now they can do even an AND, saying that AND last name equals C. They can also say that. So this is how, all the government agencies and all that just like that can find people. They have a database, run query and find out. Okay. So now let's go to SQL view. So let's pay, end of the day. So but pay careful attention. Even okay. So this where is there, right? Let me make sure it runs. Okay. It has run. Okay. Put a not in front here. Not means just the opposite. Yeah, just run it and you can view the result. You will see that 6-3 appears. Okay. So let's play around with a SQL view. Okay, next 10-15 minutes we'll try to play around with the SQL view mostly, but you have to be present here 100%. Okay, online, all of you watch my screen. You got the result, so move away from your screen to come to my screen. Okay. Then only we'll be able to do this. What I am going to do is, there is one more. I am going to remove this not. Okay, let's not have not here. Also the parenthesis. These are all small things that matter. Remove the parenthesis and not. Hopefully it will run and we make sure it works. It works. But just instead of or, we are using in. In and or are the same. Let's look at it. I'll zip in, okay, 3004, 3005, 3009. Okay, let me, for classroom people, let me copy this for you so that you can see it clearly. the where statement changed. Instead of this, the where statement is now both are same. Yeah. Yeah. So make sure your SQL is matching this, so whatever I have. Okay, you should have a select statement, and after the select statement, once you start a where, you should see only this. The rest of it you should have removed. A select statement you shouldn't have touched it. Below select statement, the where statement is the only thing that should have changed. Make sure that it is matching with it. You yourself find the mistake. Your where statement should be this. Okay. So in there is one more. You can also use the last one that we use. Okay. Watch here. Not the same result. So it will show the same result as what we had. But make sure you have proper parentheses. I have added a couple of parentheses. Okay. So I am going to copy this for your benefit and post it here. Make sure it is matching. But understand why we are doing it. Where not, if you put it, okay, there is a new parenthesis here, there is a parenthesis here. Those things are required. Just the opposite of, now it will show 3001318. Okay. So this one is opposite of this. It's saying that, wait, don't give me the zip codes. Give me all the zip codes but the ones here. Yeah. They're not. So now let's have a little more fun. Okay. Okay. Now everybody is settled. I have the confidence. Okay. Make sure online you are getting it. Okay. So now watch my screen. Okay. So now delete all this. So delete the highlighted portion. Only where you have. Okay. I just want you guys to get, I know I can stop the class here, but I just want to do two more so that you have some more confidence on how to type here. So you can say where zip equal to. You want to get a feel for how, when you type, how to do it. Zip equal to 30005. Okay, so run the query. If you run the query, you should get a result. Okay, so now let's try the next one. Online, once again watch. Next one, we are going to try with student ID. For student ID, you need to type it very carefully. Okay, student ID. You just have to repeat whatever is there. You can even copy paste or repeat it. Student ID equal to student ID equal to 3. Okay. I should have started with last name. By mistake I started student ID. Let's do this. Even we can do this. Make sure the first try is right. Run it. Run the query. Student ID with uppercase S. ID with uppercase I. Now let's connect it with an OR, okay? OR last name equal to, I think here it is a single quote, sometimes it could be a double quote. Here last is equal for the day. Student ID equal to 3 or last name equal to 3. Put it in single quote. These are all small things that you should do. You should be very, very careful with. Okay, even any small mistake it will not tolerate. Type it slowly. Type it slowly and correctly. Okay. So you should run the query. Right. Now, what you can do is you can also connect it with an AND, last exit. Okay, I cannot resist it. Okay, put the parenthesis first and then say AND zip equal to, for zip string, this will be circle. You got to say zip. Okay, so if you run it, even it filters down even further. Right? You can can also put KC and connect it with one more AND or an OR. And date of join. Date of join equal to date. How to write a date? I am not sure. This is the first time I am trying this. So you just have to insert the date of join like this. It does only this. Whatever query I wrote was correct, but make sure that you write like this. What did you say the last name? Maybe this. Then we said OR, right? You put an AND. You put an AND. It's equal to. Okay. It's equal to 3005 or and we put an AND, right? So if it works. Yeah. So the result is same. That's what we need to do. For date of join, so we learned another thing. I have never tried date of join before. Okay. So here, okay. We need to write like this. Date of join equal to, I think it is expecting a flower bracket, T, and then the date, and then close flower bracket, and this. These are the sequels. So it's not that difficult, right? So, if you look at it, step by step, so if you run into problem, always you need to backtrack step by step. Also, yeah. Parenthesis is more for readability. So it's like mathematical operation. It's better to put parentheses. Okay. So that is the last query. So you will see further query in later December. Okay. I'm also slowly closing. Okay. All right. So I'll take a couple of questions. The rest you can email it to me.